Did you know a penny could be worth more than a brand new car or even a small house? I'm talking about a coin that most people don't think twice about, a simple little penny. But not just any penny. This one is from the year 1943. And some versions of this coin have sold for $60,000, $79,000, even up to $90,000 or more. That's not a myth. These coins are real, and they are worth a fortune. So why is this penny so special? In 1943, something strange happened. Because of World War II, the U.S. Mint stopped making pennies out of copper. They needed copper to make bullets and other supplies for the war. So instead, the Mint used steel covered with zinc to make pennies. That's why most 1943 pennies are silver or gray in color. They're magnetic too because of the steel. Over 1 billion of these steel pennies were made, and they are pretty common. You might even have one in your home. Most of them are only worth a few cents, maybe $1 if it's shiny. But here's where it gets exciting. A few 1943 pennies were made by accident using the wrong metal copper, not steel. These rare mistakes are called error coins, and they are worth big money. We're talking $60,000 to $90,000 depending on their condition. Only a few of these copper 1943 pennies exist in the world. That's why collectors go crazy for them. They're like winning the coin lottery. So how did these copper pennies happen? Well, back in 1942, pennies were still being made from copper. When 1943 started, the Mint switched to steel, but it seems a few leftover copper blanks got stuck in the machines. So when they started making 1943 steel pennies, a few of those leftover copper pieces were used by mistake. The result? A few very rare, very valuable copper 1943 pennies. Now you're probably wondering, how can you tell if you have one? It's actually pretty easy. First, grab a magnet. A real 1943 steel penny will stick to the magnet because it's made of steel. But a copper penny won't stick. So if you have a 1943 penny that doesn't stick to a magnet, you might be holding a rare copper one. And that could be your golden ticket. But wait, it gets even more interesting. There are other types of valuable 1943 pennies, too. Some 1943 steel pennies were made with mistakes. These are called error coins, and they can be worth thousands of dollars too. For example, some have a double stamp, where the letters or numbers look like they were printed twice. Others have the D mint mark stamped wrong, like a D/D error. If you have one of those in great condition, you could sell it for $10,000 to $20,000 or more. In fact, one 1943 steel penny with a special mint error sold for over $21,000 in an auction. And that wasn't even the rare copper one. That was just a steel penny with a repunched letter on it. So you see, even regular steel 1943 pennies can be worth a lot if they have mistakes or are in perfect shape. And guess what? One 1943 penny made of copper was sold for over $500,000. That's right, a single penny, worth more than $500,000. That was the best example ever found, and it was in amazing condition. But even a worn-out copper 1943 penny could still bring you $60,000 or more. So don't throw away any old change without checking it first. Let's do a quick recap. Most 1943 pennies are made of steel. They're gray, shiny, and magnetic. These are common, but still fun to collect. Now, if your 1943 penny is brown or reddish, and it doesn't stick to a magnet, you could have a rare copper version. That's when you should get it checked by a coin expert or send it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you if it's real and how much it's worth. Also, look closely at the date and letters. If anything looks doubled or strange, that might be a valuable error. Use a magnifying glass or zoom on your phone camera to check. You can also weigh the coin. A steel penny weighs about 2.7 grams, while a copper one is a bit heavier at around 3.1 grams. If your 1943 penny doesn't weigh like the others, that could be another clue. But be careful, there are a lot of fakes out there. Some people take regular 1943 steel pennies and plate them with copper to make them look rare. Others change the date on a 1948 copper penny to look like 1943. Those are not real errors. Experts can spot these tricks, and you should always get your coin checked before trying to sell it. Even though most 1943 pennies are common, it's worth taking the time to look. Imagine finding one in a coin jar, old piggy bank, or your grandparents' drawer and realizing it's worth more than a car. Or even a house. These stories really happen. People have discovered rare pennies by accident and ended up walking away with thousands and thousands of dollars. So what should you do now? Go look for your old coins. Check every 1943 penny you find. Test it with a magnet. Look for red or brown color. Weigh it. Look closely at the letters. You never know, you could be the next person to discover a $90,000 penny sitting in your home right now. And if you liked learning about this, stick around, because there are other pennies, like the 1944 steel cent and the 1955 double die, that are worth thousands too. But the 1943 error pennies? They're the superstars. The dream find. The ones that collectors hunt for day and night.